Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to the first episode of The Mo Show. I've got my very, very good friend and first guest on The Mo Show, Mr. Mo Moharrak. Welcome. Wow, where do we start? I've known my guest for about 15 years now. We met in Dubai in 2005. All of a sudden, that's 15 years ago. But obviously, you were born and raised in Jeddah. I believe your father migrated from the south of Saudi Arabia, Jizan.
Yes, he did.
How old were you? Did you ever live in the south, or was it
Me or my dad?
you?
No,
You.
I was born and raised in Jeddah
Okay.
until 17, graduated high school here, and then moved to the UAE to pursue
Further studies.
university. Yeah.
Do you look back at childhood over here and being a schoolboy fondly? Is it something you miss?
My childhood was a very happy one.
Mm-hmm.
I loved living in Jeddah. I loved my friends. Jeddah was much smaller back then. You'd leave in the morning going to school and you'd know every single car around you, who's in it, who's going where. I miss those days. I'm glad I had that experience. Jeddah changed completely from those days. But to sum it up, really, a very happy childhood.
That's amazing.
Alhamdulillah.
Two sisters.
Two sisters, Iman and Raha.
Yeah, and then obviously when you moved, your sisters also moved to the UAE with you.
So Iman was the first one.
Yeah.
My dad was very against letting his kids, especially the female ones,
He's a Jizani through and through.
yeah, to go abroad. So to kind of soften the blow, my mom said, you know what, she can go to the UAE, it's very close.
Mm-hmm.
So she paved the way.
Amazing.
I was one of the people that graduated in 2002. So, September 11 happened.
Yeah.
The States was on my mind. It was very difficult back then. So AUS was a natural decision.
So Dubai was a good 5, 6, 7 years for you, maybe a bit more.
9.
And then you 9 years.
Yeah,
9 years.
9 years.
That's quite some time.
Yeah.
And then you made the mother of all moves, didn't you? You went to New York City.
Not New York. I went to
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Sorry, I jumped the
first.
gun. You went to Barcelona
Yeah.
first. A city that is so close to your heart.
Unreal.
I mean, you speak the damn language.
When I first moved there, I've never been to Barcelona before.
Okay.
So I literally landed with my luggage moving there.
Mm-hmm.
I went there to do my MBA. Had the time of my life. Had the opportunity to do my last semester in New York. And it has always been a dream. There's so much energy
Constantly.
in that city. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
That's what a city is.
Truly. I feel like there's a community from every country in like the 5 boroughs. Yemenis, okay? There's an actual Mendi shop, the goat over rice that we love here. One has opened in New York City.
The happy Yemeni.
Is it that?
I've been.
No way.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
did?
Or the smiling Yemeni.
One of those.
One of those.
It's Moroccan has been popular there for the longest time. Like it's a delicacy. Like
One of the best food carts is
Ooh.
owned by Egyptians.
yeah,
I don't remember the name. but
Falafel Brothers.
something.
I might have just made that up.
Not Falafel Brothers. Something. And it's rice and chicken and local food.
Like a kushari.
Super good.
Yeah.
Super good.
Your mom's is Egyptian, right?
No, my mom's half Turkish.
Half Turkish. Why do I keep forgetting that? I thought she was.
But she was born and raised in Egypt and Lebanon.
All right.
So she lived in
So
both.
you're not as a thoroughbred Saudi as you portray yourself to be.
Do I portray that?
You look like. I mean, if you were to Google Saudi man,
I look like that.
absolutely, definitely.
Jizani man.
I think it's al-irq al-jizani al-qawi. It's a
Is
strong bloodline.
Is it being the good-looking one or?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Just making sure.
Stunning.
Stunning. Unreal. You should see me. Honestly, so basically I left when I was 17. I came back, I think, at 28, 29. So I did a lot of growing up abroad on my own. You come, you see your parents and family and friends that live here from time to time. When I moved back in 2013, it was like a big slap on the face. I had my first panic attack.
Having moved back, that's when you experienced it.
you know, you move back, you're in your old room.
Yeah.
As a teenager, you're like, okay, so I traveled all over the world, and it brings me back to the starting point.
Square one.
So it's kind of discouraging
Yeah.
at that point. And I got anxiety, I went through depression, all these feelings. But, you know, you start realizing that it's actually not point zero. You know, it's starting something new.
Yeah.
And this is when I decided, after living, I think, 2 or 3 years with my parents again, that I needed to move out. I needed to have my own physical space, my own mental space, to start, whether it's creating or thinking outside of that childhood room that you've been in, because it can be extremely limiting to be back with your parents. And, you know, parents, being parents, are going to tell you, you know, where are you going? When are you coming back? What are you going to do today? Out of love. But for you, it's like,
It's misinterpreted.
yeah, don't control my space, my time.
Yeah. And I don't blame us, because we've been, you know, on our own watch for 10 years.
Yeah.
And we got used to that. And we've all experienced.
It's a very, I think, shuf, yani, and this is a huge generalization, yeah? But I think us as Arabs, yani, احنا, we start understanding responsibilities end of 20s, beginning of 30s, as opposed to, you know, other nationalities where they take on responsibility very early on in life.
Much sooner.
We live through our 20s having fun, you know, silver spoon, and then we come to realize, okay, life is going to hit us hard. And I think that's what happened to me. So I told a friend that I'm coming to a podcast, and he asked me, what's it about? Can you tell me?
In a nutshell?
Yeah.
So the idea came when in the middle of Corona, and I was like, okay, my day job consists of me working and thinking and doing everything in Arabic, which is not my strength. English is my strength. When I'm on my own time, I think in English. I process things in English. And I've been following a guy who I think is, you know, one of the smartest guys out there, very inspiring.
Don't say it.
It's not who you think I'm going to say.
Okay.
Naval.
Okay.
Okay. And Naval preaches that exercise your talents, create your own job, work for yourself, stop building someone else's dream.
Beautiful.
So it just was a light bulb moment in my mind. And the West and the East, basically everyone who's not from Saudi Arabia, has a different interpretation of our country. And they only hear about us from a political level and never from the man on the street.
Yeah.
I'm the man on the street in a language they can understand, in an accent that they're comfortable hearing. And I realized that if I don't do it, okay, if I don't kind of bridge that that gap or make that introduction where I have people, you know, who are regular people that go about their day, you know, they're running their own businesses, launching their businesses, and I want the world to get a chance to hear from them, you know, in English. This is, you know, what's going on in Saudi, and this is what we're up to. For example, you have started a couple of businesses in the last 2 years. Sirwal W Fanila, which is nothing short of genius. You took you took a purchasing behavior that is so old school and almost just not important to anyone. Like you buy it as you would, you know, like a pen or a pencil, like anything will do, which is what you're wearing under what you're wearing.
Yeah.
A white t-shirt and a paper thin tracksuit bottom is probably the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
You know, we'd go to these places. I'd go to a place like that every 2 or 3 years, all right? And I'll just get whatever's off the shelf.
Yeah.
And within a year, I'd have to replace it. But I wouldn't replace it because I can't be bothered to go back to that place. You digitalized a very old school consumer behavior method of purchase.
Yeah.
I think I spoke a bit too much about it, but can you just, you know, chime in a little bit on that?
Sure. So, you know, direct to consumer is what's what the future is and what everyone is currently doing. And if COVID taught us anything, it's you're going to purchase a lot online, whether it's your groceries, your high-end clothes, whatever it might be. The idea came 2 years ago. I wanted to find something that's a passive buying behavior, which is Sirwal W Fanila. It's something that you almost wear every day because under the thobe you wear Sirwal W Fanila. Wanted to innovate a bit with it, make it look smarter, because once you go back home, you actually lounge in it and relax in it.
You're wearing it day and night, really.
Yeah, and it, what we currently have doesn't look very appealing. So innovated with the material and with the kind of structure of it to look more appealing, and that's how the idea came about. Created a very simple website for people to order from. We don't have a store. Other places have stores, and that's the majority of their businesses. And they've transitioned online, but that's not what their bread and butter is based on.
And you're purely on,
Online.
no brick and mortar whatsoever.
No.
Completely online.
Yes.
Healthy Home is the second company that you launched a few years ago.
Yes, sir. So Healthy Home is a sanitation business based out of Dubai. It was a service I used to use when I was there. And really, like both businesses, Sirwal W Fanila and Healthy Home, are things that I use or I would buy. And I think it's very important, and I'm not trying to be
It's necessities.
a business guru, but I think it's important if you go into a business, it's something that you would use to be able to sell it. So it's a home sanitation and office sanitation business. Created a joint venture with a company in Dubai, started operations in 2018. Launched in Jeddah first. It was really exciting. Launched in Riyadh end of 2019, and we're soon to launch in Sharqiyya, inshallah.
That's awesome. Covering the three major regions of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And there is an awareness. There's growth surely in that. People are becoming more aware, perhaps even more hygienic after COVID.
Yeah. So it catapulted the business. Because when we first launched, there was a lot of educational part. Why would you bring a company to do your sanitation? You're cleaning the house, but it doesn't mean you're dirty or anything. It's just an extra step that you take. After COVID, people are more receptive to the service.
And I'm sure now when people think, let's sanitize my home, it's the Healthy Home that comes to mind, because you've created a footprint for yourself that's 2 years old. So in a way, COVID, happened at quite an ideal time for you. You have winners and losers, all right?
Yeah.
In anything. The online space, pharmaceutical, medicine, all that took off during COVID. The tourism
business
and transportation business kind of, went to shit.
Yeah, food business is booming
through the roof. It's really nice to see that there are some people that have benefited from this amongst the chaos and the disaster of it all.
Honestly, listen, everyone got hurt,
in some way or another,
including sanitation businesses, because still during COVID, you're not going to let strangers into your home,
correct,
to do the sanitation. So we all got hit hard. But just as you want to put a positive spin on it, you come out, you go back and fix your papers all over again and see how you can become more efficient to run the business. And whoever survives. Whoever doesn't, hopefully pivots into something that's profitable.
You've also suffered something that I've suffered from, but I think you have suffered from it to a bigger degree, being heart issues.
Yeah.
Is that something that stemmed from anxieties, panic attacks, or was that something that you've had for a longer time?
So I didn't know I had that issue until I got a panic attack. And actually I got it while traveling. So when I came back, I went to see all these different doctors and what's going on, not understanding that, panic attacks could stem from stress and anxiety and depression and all of these things.
Well, how did you interpret it when you had your first? Did it feel like?
I felt like I was dying.
Yeah.
Heart attack.
It's scary. For a second, just to deviate from that point, there's so many things that they don't teach us in school. And one of them, we can have another episode about what they should be teaching us in school and they don't. But one thing that they don't teach us about, that we know nothing about until it smacks us in the face, is anxieties, is panic attacks, you know, because if I knew what the sensation was like, my first one probably wouldn't have lasted as long. I would have known how to tackle it. I would have, you know, told myself some, you know, assuring things to recognize that this is not the end of my life. This is something called a panic attack, and it will pass.
Yeah.
And you'll actually feel quite good after it, because the rush of adrenaline through your system just makes, you know, you feel like you ran a marathon when it's all said and done. But at the time, nobody can convince me that it didn't feel like death.
Yeah. It's mental health in general. It's something that's not spoken of, but now a lot of people are speaking about it.
Yeah,
it's becoming an open subject. Funny story. When I first, you know, we're sitting with friends, and I talk about like my anxiety, what medication I took to deal with it, and all of these things. Adi, you know, you're talking with friends. I got approached by 2 other people later. I'm talking about one of the nights back in like 6 years ago.
Okay.
And 2 of my friends called me, and they're like, you know what, I'm actually going through the same thing. Can you help me out? And, you know, you would not know that they're going through that. But once you speak about it, and
others can relate.
normalize it, and, you know, there's no shame
At all.
in being human.
Absolutely not. And you actually feel a lot better when you do discuss it. Women empowerment.
Super excited about that.
10 years ago, it would have been borderline unheard of for women to be in the workplace.
No, just driving around and seeing that, you know, there are women driving around you is super exciting.
You know, them being an equal of us.
They
is
are
groundbreaking.
They are equal.
And that's really, but 10 years ago, you know, there was a stigma about men are here and women are here. Today, that stigma is neutralized.
Yeah.
It's not even there. And when it's all said and done, from, you know, the progress that has happened in the past 5 years, that's top for me. In terms of like real net gain, women. So the progress of where we're going as a country is really incredible. You know, who would have thought? You know, cinemas, women driving, just the changes that we saw and the pace that we saw them at is nobody could have foresaw.
I think this is what the country needed, a big shock.
Yeah.
You know, to
Shock
bring it to where it is right now.
Yeah, we're in a good place.
It's beautiful.
I like where we're going.
Yes, sir.
You of course have become a father before you actually became a father.
Yeah.
You are, you know, the ultimate father figure to your nephew.
Hamoudi.
And I take note of that because I have a son, 3 years old, a little younger than your nephew Hamoudi, and it's there's nothing quite fulfilling like you know, supporting, being there, teaching. It's it really puts a smile. I mean, looking at you right now, there is a smile imprinted on your face that just screams it's a rewarding sensation.
He's hilarious, honestly speaking. Such a good boy. It's a difficult responsibility. So my sister is a single mom. She's bringing up a beautiful boy. You pitch in when you can pitch in. But it's very fulfilling to see that, you know, you're helping raise a young person into someone that's funny, someone that's, you know, independent in their personality. It's just a really beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Really. And we're more friends, you know.
He's 6 now?
He's 7.
He's 7.
He's almost 8.
So he's starting, he was supposed to start first grade, I guess, this fall.
Is it?
It's 6, 7 is
first grade.
Mashallah, man.
These new systems, they call it EY, I don't know what, and YEB. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not used to that.
Is he at the British school?
He's at Noon, which is a Swedish system.
And all Arabic.
All Arabic, some English.
Yeah. My aunt founded that school.
Yeah. Nermeen.
Super proud of her. It's beautiful.
She's amazing.
And it's all in Arabic, old school Arabic. Fusha, isn't
Fusha.
it? Yeah.
So Hamoudi doesn't say أنا
أريد.
Yeah, أريد أروح الخارج. أطلع I don't even know how to say it. So it's proper classical Arabic.
What I love is that whenever there's an incident, an unfortunate incident, there was an unfortunate incident on London Bridge 6 or 7 months ago. When the news broke, you had a camera, you had like 6 or 7 people with their phones filming what had happened. News broke, #global, before Sky News or BBC made the scene for them to put their spin on what happened.
Yeah.
So it tells you that the individual media person, me and you on the street with our iPhones or Samsungs, are much stronger than corporation.
100%.
News corps being there for the. So there's something to say about what the future holds in terms of news coverage, where everyone is a journalist.
Your phone is your weapon nowadays.
Hmm.
Anything bad happens, you take a video.
For good or bad.
Anything good, you're taking a video. I mean,
In our country, maybe not all countries, but in our country, social media really helped it. It brought a sense of transparency to things. Anything that is good or bad will trend on Twitter.
I think are we top users?
User per person, we're definitely in the conversation. Okay. I know.
I don't have Twitter.
You don't?
I don't.
You got to get on it. If for no other reason, just check out what's being discussed. The top 10 topics being discussed every day. That's the equivalent of opening the newspaper 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So just to have a pulse on what's happening. Now, many people will say, avoid the news altogether. If it's important enough, it'll find you. But I don't know. Maybe I chase news too much. I got to check what's happening 2 or 3 times a day.
If your consumption doesn't affect your mental state and all of that, then chase it.
Fair play. How do you feel about marriage? Is something you want to do one day?
Not at the moment.
No, not on your mind.
No.
When the time's right.
Yeah, I'm happy being.
You're not saying no or yes.
I'm not saying no or yes. Right now, today, no. I'm too busy with my job or my work. I don't have capacity to do that right now. Not mentally, not physically, not financially.
It'll take up a lot of your time.
Yeah, I don't think I have that.
Especially with kids.
I'm happy with my 4 cats.
Mm-hmm.
They're already a handful.
Yeah, you're allowed 4 cats in our religion as you're allowed 4 wives.
4 wives.
Make sure you don't get that 5th. We're in trouble.
That's a different story.
Looking back on a Mo Moharrak at the age of 21.
Oh my God.
If you can send a message, send a text or WhatsApp to him, not that we had it back then. A line or 2. What advice would you give your younger self of 10, 12 years ago?
Wow, that's.
I know it's a heavy question.
I mean, listen. One thing is that everything works out. Really, everything really does. I would tell myself to actually not worry too much, because I'm a huge worrier and I exaggerate things in my head.
Did you obsess about perfection?
Yeah. So I would tell myself, actually go and work on yourself. Go see someone, a therapist, or to start dealing with those issues at that age.
Therapy is underrated.
Yeah, I go to therapy every Monday. It's an incredible release.
That's something else that should be discussed in schools, along with what was the first one we said? Yeah, panic attacks, anxiety, the importance of compound interest.
So many things.
And
financial acumen. Yeah. Saving, investing, not geography.
How to achieve financial freedom isn't discussed in any economics or business class that I've taken.
Super important.
You'd have to go to Tony Robbins for that. They don't teach you in school. I know. But he'll cover the basics for you to then make a decision that you want.
I'll recommend someone else.
Okay. Al-Khas.
Al-Khas.
Yeah, no, super important, definitely. I mean, because therapy means not leaving things in, and when you leave things in, that's when you eventually one day blow up.
Yeah.
And which translates to a panic attack.
Panic attack.
Yeah. For crucial element.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to close with, Mo?
Wallahi, Shuf, thank you so much for including me. It's my first podcast. I hope it goes well. I hope whoever listens to this will get 1 or 2 takeaways or just enjoy listening to our voices. Listen, podcasts are like art, you interpret it the way you want to interpret it. Unless there is like a clear message that you're sending or a topic, I'm going to teach you how to do an income statement. This is not, I don't think this is what it is. What this is a conversation between friends. And I
had no idea where this was going to go. Obviously, I told you that I want to change the perception and the impression that people have on Saudi Arabia through the voice of a man on the street to another man on the street. But obviously, it's not going to be the only thing that people are going to get out of it. It's going to be a discussion. I don't know where it's going to go, but
I think we should start introducing eating while we podcast to talk about the food.
Yes, introduce our local
delicacies
to the world. It's been a pleasure having you, Mo.
Thank you, Mo.
Hopefully you can come check in with us when we reach episode 50. But I'd love to have you back, talk about where the country is when we check in again, where your businesses are, and hopefully maybe you'd be married with a couple of kids.
Yalla.
Who knows? He's single, ladies and gentlemen, and he's into cat raising and bird watching, and he's a great father. Ask Hamoudi.
Thank you, Mo.
Thanks so much for your time,
It's
Mo.
my pleasure.
And
really.
we'll see you soon.
Inshallah.
Check it out.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.